Hey, we're back. It's 2025. We took some time off. Not a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do somehow manage to talk some baseball, Bob and Tom show, if you're from Indiana. There is a Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona coming up, some NASCAR rule changes, and we ramble about a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, and how my internet let me down during the iRacing Daytona 24. More right now. Welcome to 2025. It's a all new season of FR Racing's Garage Talk. I'm DJ Flook,
I'm Eric Richardson.
and my light is really bright. I think somebody moved it. That's better. All right.
That'll
So,
happen.
new year. We got a refreshed look. See, look at that. Just kidding. We put that in post, so it looks the same right now. But got a refreshed look.
I do
Oh,
not, however.
the video will. You'll we'll have this nice look. We got our ticker. We got all kinds of fun stuff on here now. We almost look professional, most. So our last episode was around December 13th, I think.
Yeah, middle of December, somewhere in
Yeah,
there.
took some time off, and I feel like a lot's happened, but at the same time, not a lot has happened in that time.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's been quite a few announcements and some things coming up for the season, and we're gearing up now for Daytona 24 hours, but it has been quiet too.
So we got last weekend we had the iRacing Daytona 24, which you participated in.
Yep.
I tried
Third
to
time. Hard to believe
broadcast.
that.
Yeah, third time, and different class each year.
Yeah.
That's first year with rain, the dynamic debris. We'll get into that here in a little bit. Uh, we have the real Rolex 24 coming up. NASCAR's Clash years in a couple of weeks. Lewis Hamilton is officially a Ferrari driver, and that's going to take some getting used to.
Hmm.
Uh, Colapinto has a job in Formula One now. Romain Grosjean has a job in IndyCar, sort of. I mean, yeah, it's just there's a
Yeah.
lot of news, but nothing like earth shattering. There's only one seat left in the IndyCar series that has
Yeah.
not been
Dale
filled.
Coyne announced one driver.
Yeah. Um, any predictions on who will be in the 18?
Yeah, I hope Renus VK gets in
It's kind of it'd be kind of crappy if he didn't.
because he is better than half the field.
At least. Devlin DeFrancesco is back, surprisingly.
It's my favorite driver.
I still think it was funny when IndyCar was trying to sell like the Devlin DeFrancesco merchandise. It's like buy a DeFrancesco bumper sticker for 79 cents. And they had this like street sign that said like DeFrancesco Drive, and it was like clearance down to like $3.
I almost bought it, but then it sold out, or they were like, "Yeah, we just got
Yeah.
to take it down."
It's sold out. Somebody bought it as a joke, I'm sure.
Like I would have. Now, be fair. I will eat my words if he does have a good season. But if it's
He
like before, there's going to be a lot of wrecking.
he
Maybe
had
not
like
including him, but going to be a root cause of it.
he had like one good part of a race that I recall in his time in IndyCar previously. I'm not trying to bag on the guy, but I guess I am. But uh, he had a really good start at like the Indy Grand Prix. I think you were at that one.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Very memorable, very memorable. Um,
I know Alex Pillow just like walked away from everybody and it had one caution on lap three, and then it just was, hey, there goes Pillow. There
bye.
goes Pillow. Well, hey, one lap to go.
So and Fox Indy, on top of IndyCar, Fox started doing TV commercials, and they debuted with the Josef Newgarden commercial, which was great. Like that's the best IndyCar commercial I've seen in a very long time. Um, and one thing, and I pointed this out to you, is have you noticed any advertising for the Daytona 500 yet, or even the Clash or anything NASCAR on
I've
Fox?
not seen the Clash.
I
I'm
think I've seen
trying to
it mentioned on a
think.
football game once.
I don't really watch too much.
I mean, granted, we're a
'Cause I
month
don't
away, but
watch the NFL much at all. But I can't think of anything.
we're talking, yeah. But
I've seen the
everybody's talking
Masters already,
Masters.
and that's in April.
Yes.
I have seen that commercial. Tradition like no other.
Traditionally, no, but we got the lovely little piano playing in the background as you're talking about the Masters and Tiger from 12 feet. And he sings it.
I still don't understand why golf announcers whisper when they're nowhere close to
They
the
are on the
putter.
other they're on the other side of the course. And
We
and
need a race broadcast sometime
there
done by golf announcers. And we have Dale Jarrett passing for the lead into turn one.
and here comes Ryan Blaney on the outside of turn one.
Wait, is this Richard Petty making a comeback?
Why is Richard Petty out on the track?
Wait, that car is from Cars. Oh, we have a big one.
It's in the hole.
Yeah, then we need the soccer announcer going, pass for the lead.
Whoa!
I want to see what the ratings would be like on a broadcast like that. People would either find it hilarious or be like, I can't watch this.
This is terrible. I'm turning this crap off. But
And with all that, we just lost 5 listeners.
I don't know. I don't know. I think somebody's probably gonna find that bit entertaining. Everybody thinks that golf announcing unrelated things is funny. I don't know. I kind of want to be a golf announcer once. That would be fun.
You don't have to talk loud, just
Just
talk and
have to talk
whisper.
very, very calm, very quietly. It's
But
almost
the
like
key is when you do it, you have to be dramatic.
yeah, it's almost like you're broadcasting on NPR. All right, we're done with that. What were we talking? Oh, IndyCar ad. Yeah. So Josef Newgarden's ad starts off with a
Questionable scene
a
for
questionable scene, which
national television.
let's see, Josef Newgarden as a sperm,
Winning the first race.
and then I like the video of him chucking a bottle of milk. I have to assume that was really him. Was it?
I'd have to go back and watch again.
I mean,
I've only watched it once.
I've watched it a couple times, but there was a cameo in that commercial of a book.
Yeah, we had our good friend Andy Amendola got kind of quasi featured in the commercial.
Yeah, it's a Newgarden wrote the book. Andy wrote the book with the Newgardens, but he had some, but then they flipped through all the pages on the book. I'm like, that is cool. He knew the book was going to be featured in the commercial, but he didn't know to that extent. So like I saw that and I'm texting our we have a group chat with him. I'm texting him and I'm like, Andy, that is awesome. And he's like, you saw it already? I'm like, yeah, I saw it already. It was on the, it wasn't on TV yet, but it was on the internet. But they showed it during a football game, and
Yeah, I think
I
I saw it
was
during a game too.
I was so pumped
Maybe I've
for
seen it
that.
twice. Yeah, it's
I
so cool to
was
see that.
really, really pumped. And then, IndyCar is posting memes of Joseph in his, bow tie with glasses reading the book. And so Andy got a lot of love there for a 30-second commercial hyping the IndyCar series coming up here.
And
But
the reference, which wrote
yes,
this book.
there's the book signed by Joseph
Yeah,
Newgarden.
one of the first 500.
But yeah, I was so pumped for him. I'm just really excited, and he's got a
And
lot
it
of
was funny to see Alex Blow's kids
yeah.
did not like it.
My kid hated it. But Andy ran with that.
Which is
He's
great
like,
that he did that for the commercial.
loved the book was loved by America, hated by Alex Below's kid.
Oh, great to see that there's actually advertising for IndyCar.
And good advertising too. Like this wasn't some just, thrown together. Like this was well done. And Pato Award said that he's already filmed his and he hasn't seen it yet, or he hadn't seen it yet at the point he was commenting, but he said he had a really good feeling his was going to be up there as well. So
And it
uh
wasn't just like a little 10-second spot either. It's a good length commercial.
good 30-second long commercial. How many willpower puns are going to be in his? I'm
It'd be
gonna
fun to
sit.
see how many drivers end up getting featured.
You have to assume,
Your top names have to be.
yeah,
Um,
and like
you
they've
gotta
done
have
such a poor
Herta,
job,
Power.
like they've done such a poor job marketing the drivers, outside of the fan base that I mean, NASCAR is arguably too. I mean, people still talk about Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon, and Gordon's been out for 10 years almost, and Dale died 25 years ago, almost 25 years ago.
It was wild.
But they've
The
done
fact
such
it's
a
going
poor
NFL
job with marketing.
playoffs.
Yeah. It's good to get the name out there. It's like, hey, Josef Newgarden, you're the guy with the sperm commercial. Yeah.
Great. That's what I'm gonna
Hey, you know
remember it
what?
for.
Good attention. Attention is better than no attention. So that's I didn't really see anybody that was offended by that, but they were definitely talking about it. I'm sure somebody was, but
Generates some buzz. Sometimes you just gotta pull shock factor. It's one
yeah.
thing I was taught in my advertising classes.
Yep. What's the term? You gotta shock the people, or what's the other one? Sex sells. That was it's the other
It still
cla
does. Look at perfume commercials.
classic. Yeah.
Um,
Classic advertising technique, advertising 101 there. So, yeah, so really good start with Fox. Hopefully, Will Buxton will be joining Townsend Bell and James Hinchcliffe. Generally, the response was favorable. Townsend Bell, he's very polarizing as far as the
yeah.
in the booth. People think his devil's advocate approach to Hinchcliffe is tiring. I don't know. I like the banter
Sometimes it's
between the two.
fine.
Does go a little overboard sometimes, but I think in general it's fine.
I would put it better than Harvick and Boyer.
I mean,
Couple of
Harvick.
races, I'm like, are these guys gonna like start going to blows here? Like, come on.
I
This
mean,
is a
granted, it was
predictable time.
Harvick's first year, and his. Have you ever watched his Happy Hour show on
I've been able to
Fox?
watch it a couple times.
That's pretty good.
I would probably watch it more if I could.
Yeah, I just periodically catch it. Just flipping around late at night before I go to bed. But uh,
It's where I need
yeah,
a work from home job and a TV in the office, so that way I can just put those shows on all day and listen to Earnhardt and Hamlin, just working, put those on in the background. Wish I
ever since
could.
I started working from home regularly, I used to listen to podcasts all the time because that was like it helped with the commute. It helped get me through the day. I put my headphones on, people leave me alone, but now it's like I'm here and like I'm left alone. I got the dog barking and bothering me, but that's about it.
If I was ever driving to work before 9 a.m., it was always Bob and Tom.
Bob and Tom.
Oh, it's just Tom now. Bob
Yeah, but
retired.
yeah, still called the Bob and Tom show.
Such a
Great.
great,
It was a great show.
great comedy show.
There's that was yeah so good in the day.
It's still really good.
Wonder how much longer Tom's gonna go. He's not young anymore.
No. Yeah, it would be interesting.
Bob's really cool, by the way. I've interacted with him many times on social media. And after he retired, he bought an RV and he just like drove around the country for like 3 months.
If you're not familiar with who we're talking about, Bob and Tom shows based out of Indianapolis.
It's nationally syndicated.
It's Tom Griswold and Bob Kavoyan. They have lots of hilarious sketches with comedians from all over and some just classic moments.
I mean, if you lived in New York, you listened to Howard. If you lived in the Midwest, you listened to Bob and Tom. That was it. It was fun though because we had the flagship station that they were on. We got all they would always. I never got this when I was a kid, and then I realized when I was older, they would do like local news and weather and traffic and stuff, and then all of a sudden they'd be like, "You're listening to the Bob and Tom show." I'm like, that's when they went national. Yeah, I realized like that is when they went national. But the other nice thing we had was after the show went off the air, we got like a bonus hour where they were still on the air, but only in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And they would talk a lot of local stuff there. That was a lot of fun. They bring on like Peyton Manning when he was playing for the Colts, and
Pat McAfee was a
yeah,
guest.
yes, he
And
was
that's kind
a
of where he
lot.
really got started.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was
You can
on
thank
Bob and Tom all the
you
time.
can thank or blame them for starting Pat McAfee's broadcasting career.
Yeah, the fact that you see him on ESPN, it really started off when he was kicker for the Colts. He's on Bob and Tom a lot.
My dad met Pat McAfee early on, and he was super cool. It was really, just
I would
the
have
guy,
a blast just to sit down and have a beer with him.
the guy you see on TV is him. Like, people are like, oh, the whole WWE person. No, that's him. That is really him. It's pretty wild. But uh, so they went to a Colts. They had like a Colts preseason dinner, like, but none of like the big players would show up. But Pat McAfee did, and they did like an autograph. And I have like a Colts helmet in my closet, and like outside of Pat McAfee, the rest of the names, I'm like, who are all these people? Like
Well,
many of them got cut before at the end of training camp that year. But so my dad took a picture of Pat McAfee, and it's hilarious. And it was when he was younger, and he still had the big fro. Remember that? And so my dad takes a picture of Pat McAfee autographing the helmet. And he stops. He goes, eh! Like Fonzie, double thumbs up thing. So he takes a picture. So they go back the next year to the kickoff dinner again. Pat McAfee's there again, but this time my dad brought the photo with him.
that's
And he
awesome.
puts the photo down for Pat to sign, and he goes, "Oh my God." He goes, I kind of remember doing this last year. I can't believe you brought the photo back for me to sign.
That's so cool.
But it's hanging in my parents' basement. I'll have to show it. I'll have to have him take a picture and show you it. But yeah, he took this photo of Pat McAfee. He's probably like 25 years old. He's got the big fro, yeah, like Fonzie.
And Bob and Tom have a connection to the Indy 500, especially if you're local. Anytime I'm driving to the race or if I'm
Oh
home,
yeah.
I always turn on Bob and Tom show on race day.
Yes. That was, yeah, they were on the air. They're at the track. They were always there.
Yeah, they're talking about the race stuff going on. They give traffic updates. Like, hey, this is everything I need.
There's just something like magical about getting up at like 4 a.m. on that Sunday before Memorial Day. And it's like 60 degrees outside. It's quiet as you're like pulling in, and you're just kind of walking around and just know this place is going to have 250,000 people here any moment. And it's going to be just super loud. But that calm in the morning, you know what I'm talking about. You get there
Oh
early
yeah.
enough, it is calm. And
Yeah, I think one thing on my bucket list as I almost fall again, not the first time.
not cutting that out. We still have
Um,
that TikTok posted. Yeah, we still have TikTok. Hey.
One thing I think I want to have on my bucket list is to be at the speedway when the gun goes off.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They literally, when the gates open, when it's time for gates open at what, 6 a.m.,
Mhm.
they shoot off a howitzer. So literally,
I-
the gun goes off to open the gates.
Just
And
and let the chaos begin.
this the sun is not up yet, and you're 6 hours before race time. I
What?
don't know what it would do for 4 hours, but
My uh my grandpa was still alive. Him and my grandma would drive out from Pennsylvania to the races I mentioned before. I have the ticket. I've showed that, told that before. So the one year, this is probably around 92, 93 or so. They lose him, my grandpa. It was my mom, my grandma, and my grandpa and their neighbor. And they're walking in and they turn around. My grandpa's gone. Like, no idea where he went. He just disappeared. This is early 90s. There's no cell phone. There's no way to call him. It's like, where did he go? So like an hour later, they're just like, well, I mean, he has his ticket. He can get in. We can meet back up with him at the seats. So like an hour later, he shows back up, and they're like, where did you go? And he goes, when we walked by the Hardys, I saw they had like biscuits and gravy for breakfast. He goes, I was hungry. He went inside. He didn't say anything. He just walked off from my mom and my grandma and just went inside, had his biscuits and gravy at Hardee's.
Hey, it works. It's a
I
long
haven't.
day.
I mean, we have Carl's Jr. out here on the West Coast, and I don't even know, does Carl's Jr. even have breakfast? Does Hardee's even have breakfast anymore?
I have not stepped foot in a Carl's Jr. ever, and I have not been in a Hardee's since I was probably 8.
We used to have the Hardee's had that monster thick burger where it was like a half pound of beef and bacon and butter and
A walking heart attack.
yeah, and we used to
I've more recently been to rallies than I have been to Hardee's.
oh man, I miss rallies. There was actually a rallies in Arizona and it closed. Oh, so they the monster thick burger was 1,420 calories with 107 grams of fat. It was
I don't know how you eat that.
2 1/3 pound slabs of Angus beef, 4 strips of bacon, 3 slices of cheese, mayonnaise on a buttered sesame seed bun. No lettuce, no onions, no vegetables, none of that. And I had some friends we did it like 2 or 3 times ever. We did the monster thick burger challenge, where we'd go and order a monster thick burger, the fries, and a milkshake. And we
And then
had to
say, gotta
finish
have the shake.
and we had to finish it. And I think I figured that was like 2,700 calories or something like that meal.
And if you're in high school or college, you can get away
Yeah,
with
when
it.
you're 19, 20, 21 years old.
Were you with me, or was it somebody else doing a syrup challenge?
I know I've been with you doing a syrup challenge before. Whether it was the one you're thinking of or not, I don't know.
Maybe it was in college. I only did it once.
Oh, really? Okay, so I was there for that. I do recall the syrup challenge.
Yeah, that that was fun.
I just, oh God, I'd rather have Malort.
Yeah, looking back at it now, I'd rather shut them alert.
Oh, Malort, good stuff.
I
Uh,
still want to offer it to somebody, see their reaction, be like, "Hey, why did you not take yours yet?"
I do offer, like, when people come over to our house, which isn't very often, I do offer them a shot of Malort when they come over. Most people pass because I'm offering them alcohol, but some people like, no, I know what that is.
If you
I
haven't
just
tried it yet, find it, try it.
I,
Everybody's got to do it once.
I just remember yeah, I've done it many times. I remember the first time I had my wife try it, and she just like smells it. She's like, "This smells like kerosene." I'm like, yeah, it's
Yeah, I pretty much called
all
it
right.
jet fuel, but
Yeah,
I'm
close
sure
enough.
it's about what jet fuel feels like if you drink it.
It just like I have a hard time doing shots anymore now that I'm in the year I turned 40.
I have no problem.
I can't do shots anymore. I mean, I do Malort, but it's a challenge. And I mean, I'll make mixers all the time. I'll make cocktails and mix the different liquors and put them on ice, and I could do that all day. I mean, well, not literally, but those I'm good with. But yeah, shots, I'm just like, I'm too old for shots.
I can still do shots. Unfortunately, beer gives me migraines, so can't drink that anymore, which is unfortunate.
That's
But the
unfortunate.
fact that I can still drink down hard liquor and be
Beer,
fine, it's
I've had a
probably not a
migraine
good thing.
after a beer before. It was like, next we're gonna be talking about colonoscopies. Stick around. No.
It's more dark beers. Pale ales, I'm fine.
Yeah, it's so the thing is, like, if I drink beer, I have to drink a decent amount of water afterwards. Otherwise, I will like feel crappy in the morning. So that's
Beer
important
just
for me.
has empty calories. I'd rather go for the hard liquor.
But there's something about living out here when it's a million degrees outside, and you got your beer or you got that White Claw or one of those type things. It's just extra refreshing when you're sitting, when you're in the pool and it's 110 degrees outside.
It was kind of funny. A couple of years ago, I'm down in Florida. I'm at a kind of bar, Fort Lauderdale area, and it's pretty quiet. I order old fashioned. Somebody's like, "What do you get?" I'm like, old fashioned. He's like, then I see it, he's like a few minutes later, there's another one getting made. He wanted one. The guy
You're
next to me is drinking like the Miller Lite, and
you're an
I'm walking
inspiration.
up like, old fashioned. Like, what whiskey? I'll do a Woodford. And everybody around the bar is like, what? Started the trend.
Yeah. I Speaking of Miller Lite, rest in peace, Bob Uecker.
Yeah,
Bob.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I
Good
mean,
guy.
my brother, who's a devout Bob Uecker fan. Uh, Actually, I think my brother started following the Milwaukee Brewers because of Bob Uecker, and I don't blame him.
An iconic person.
He is. He's just an iconic personality, a very, very funny man. Um, and the stories you hear about him, like with Artie Lang and the late Norm Macdonald used to tell Bob Uecker stories about like him off the air and just all the filthy jokes he would tell. It just a hilarious man. But my brother told me that after the Brewers were eliminated from the playoffs, they said he stuck around a long time after the game, and people were like, "I think this might be it for him." Whether it was he was going to call it quits or if he wasn't doing well, I weren't sure. But the people in the clubhouse are like, this is the last time we're gonna hear Bob Uecker call a Brewers game." But yeah, he was just a legend, and many of us remember him from the Miller Lite. Older people remember him from the Miller Lite commercials. Uh, he gave an iconic Hall of Fame speech when he got in as a broadcaster, and said that he thinks he's getting hosed and he should have been in the Hall of Fame as a player with his like 210 batting average. And most of us people our age remember him from Major League
Yes.
as the Cleveland Indians announcer, and so good in that movie. Like people refer to him as the star of that movie. In many ways, like he was a minor character in that movie, but he was the star of that movie.
He's a big part of it.
Eh,
Major League is not the same if he's not in
No,
that role.
that movie doesn't. I don't think that movie works anywhere near as well without Bob Uecker being the announcer.
The only person who maybe could have replaced him and had an impact as big as his would have been Harry Carey.
Harry Carey, yeah, not Hawk Harrelson.
This bud's for you.
Oh
I
man,
still like
yeah,
the Vine lines that I have that has Harry Carey on the back with his Budweiser.
yeah.
I have them somewhere.
I have a couple 1990s Cubs yearbook, and on the back is a brick wall with Harry holding his can of Budweiser.
I need to get that as a print just to put up on my
Just
wall.
just a Harry Carey Budweiser print.
Yes.
Man loved his
Broadcasting
Budweiser.
legend.
I
Still
wish
never.
I wish I would have got a chance to meet him. I think that would have been just so cool to meet him. Ron Santo too, the late Cubs
Yeah.
announcer. I think that would have been. I mean, I did have the honor of interviewing Pat Hughes, the the Cubs radio announcer. He's worked for the Milwaukee Brewers for years and worked alongside Bob Uecker. So he was very close with Bob Uecker. And he worked alongside Harry Carey. Yeah, he worked alongside Bob. I mean, not for very long. I think Harry, he was only there for like 2 years or something like that. But um, before Harry passed. But you got a guy who you go look it up. It's Stadium Scene's main event. Look for it with Pat Hughes, and he tells stories about working with Bob Uecker and being the first Cubs announcer to call a World Series win, because 1908 there was no radio, there was no TV, so he was the first Cubs announcer to call a World Series win, and he admitted to me, I still, that he was extremely nervous going into Game 7, as were the rest of us. But
Every single Cubs fan out there felt the exact same way.
he shared stories about Vince Scully
Another
and
legendary
another
broadcast.
legend, and another legend, Harry Callis from the Philadelphia Phillies, who he passed away around 2009. Like, actually, I think he died and like had a heart attack and died in the booth, like right after the Phillies won the World Series in '08. I think it was like right when the '09 season started he died. but he has some Harry Callis stories, which some of you would remember him from the NFL films. Just go check that out. Just an amazing man, such a nice man too, and taking time. He right at the start of the COVID pandemic, I got a hold of him somehow. I don't know how, but he agreed to take a call with us, and we sat down with him for about 45 minutes, and it's just amazing stories. So real quick on the topic of baseball movies, another underrated movie is Rookie of the Year. And Daniel Stern is, he was the director of that movie from Home Alone, Blue Thunder, a lot of other City Slickers. He directed that movie, but he played the pitching coach for the Cubs. He was, little screwy there, but John Candy, the late great John Candy, was the Cubs like radio announcer during that, and he was not credited in that movie actually.
Really?
No, he
Never
was
paid
not
attention
credited.
to that.
Yeah, he was not credited in that movie, and he was really good in that too. Um, but anyway, real quick, some news before we wrap today. Lewis Hamilton is in a Ferrari. That is going to take some getting used to.
Seeing a red 44 seems wrong.
It does. It's just. I mean, it's like, okay, I get it. You've got this legendary living legend figure in the legendary team. I think they said he's living in like Enzo Ferrari's house while he's with the team. I'm like, man, they really had to pay there.
Well, and a unique thing with Formula One too, the drivers keep their numbers.
They do, yeah.
So you will see the 44 in Ferrari red.
That is gonna be weird. And you got all the rookies, and mentioned Colapinto is a backup for reserve driver for Alpine.
We did find that Jack Doohan really only has a 5 race deal.
Yeah, he doesn't yeah, he's gonna be in and out if he doesn't make a quick impression. And Valtteri Bottas is back at Mercedes. Like after he left and he grew the mustache and the mullet, and that was like no at Mercedes. I have this hunch. I mean, it sounds like he's not getting rid of the mullet and the mustache. That's just look now. But I kind of a hunch that he probably negotiated that into his contract that he keeps the mullet, the mustache.
I think so.
Oh, it's my look. Looks like a NASCAR driver now.
It'd be fun to see him over. Speaking of NASCAR and other drivers, Halo Castroneves.
Yeah, who
And apparently he's going to be in the field.
he already got into the field, didn't have to do a single thing. He has to run the
And
ARCA race to qualify to eligible, but
it's like, wait, we haven't had qualifying yet.
that's
Yeah,
right.
that's a new rule change.
That's right. Because now at NASCAR, if you're considered what's it called, like the celebrity rule or something like that?
But if you've been a high profile, like successful driver in another series, you have to put in an application for the race and like you basically get guaranteed in.
You're guaranteed in, and if you don't qualify, they'll actually add a 41st car to the field. But he wouldn't get any purse money in that case if he was the 41st car. Which means that you could see someone like Jimmy Johnson missing the field.
That it doesn't apply to former NASCAR drivers.
Correct.
It's
They have
if
to
you're coming
be
from like IndyCar, Formula One, I'm sure IMSA, series like that.
this is straight pandering to Formula One and probably to a lesser extent IndyCar to send somebody to, hey, you done with Formula One? Come run the 500.
I wonder if Travis Pastrana would have qualified for it, 2 years ago when he ran.
I would think so. I mean,
So he's done rallycross and
yeah.
motocross.
I mean, he's a big enough figure that he probably would have qualified for.
And he was a successful rallycross driver too. So
yeah. What would be interesting though is if you had like multiple drivers try to get in on like the celebrity exemption or whatever they call it.
yeah, that's what I want to know. You only get one per race. What happens if you get 6 drivers that all apply for the same race, like the Brickyard or Coke 6 or Southern 5, Daytona?
Somebody said that like I forget who it was, but somebody said that only like 6% of NASCAR races over the last 5 years had too many entrants, that somebody got bumped or something like that. So it's like it's more or less a rule for Daytona, and that's it. Maybe a couple others
The
randomly.
only other one I can think of that had a lot of drivers coming from other places would have been Coda a couple of
Mm.
years ago.
Yeah, it was like
When you had
Jensen
what?
Button in the
Jensen
field.
Button, Kimi Räikkönen, Jimmy Johnson jumped in, although he wouldn't apply. He's a Japanese driver in that one too.
This wasn't Kimi Räikkönen in the Watkins Glen race that year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
so.
yeah. He was in Watkins Glen. Yeah, you had the guy, the super formula guy from Japan who didn't he do the Chicago street race?
I know Coda was full. There were like three or four one-off drivers.
That'll be interesting to see if they can keep the momentum going in the Chicago street race, because for as much as people have complained about it, it's been pretty entertaining the first 2 years.
They need to adjust the start time earlier. It's both years it's been rain affected.
Yeah.
They need to move it
Problem.
earlier, not
Oh,
shorten it mid-race.
yeah. Well, yeah. The problem though is, can you get permits from the city of Chicago to do that?
Mhm.
And they can't run after dark. Not enough lighting. City won't permit them to run after dark as well. I mean, I guess there's probably enough lighting. The city probably lights it up pretty well. But yeah, the city won't permit them to run after dark. So I'm very curious how much longer that's going to go.
And give it 1 or 2 more years. Then I think they move it. Once the
I,
novelty wears off, kind of similar, I think, to the LA Coliseum Clash.
yeah, I mean
It's
that
nice. It's at Bowman Gray. It's a classic track.
which is not in iRacing for whatever reason. I'm guessing a licensing issue.
Maybe we'll see since it's actually been refurbished and brought up to par.
Generally, the rule of thumb in the US, if you have an iconic facility or a very popular facility that's not in iRacing, it's because they wanted too much money
Mhm.
to come for the licensing to come scan it.
And then you have the opposite, where iRacing is the only place that Auto Club exists.
And NASCAR 25, the console game, which will be coming out later this year, announced today that for the first time ever, the Arkham and Arts series will be in the game.
All four series will be in it.
Yeah, so when you do your career mode, you start as like Arca guy in, somebody's house, and work your way up from there. That'll be fun.
It should be a fun game to play around with.
I really wonder. I mean, we should be getting the new Arca car. New, it's been around for a few years, but the new Arca car, I'm guessing probably next season. Or I know for sure we're going to get a refresh of Las Vegas coming up this year. They said they just missed the deadline to publish it at the end of last season, so they're going to be a refresh of Vegas. That should look really good. New Hampshire
It's
looks
fun.
really good, by the way, after the refresh.
I've not been on it
It
since.
looks really good, really, really good. Very clean, very. It was one of the first tracks they scanned, first oval tracks they scanned, just because of the proximity to the iRacing office, and
So I'm sure it's going to look a lot different when I get out
yeah,
there.
yeah. So it's that hasn't seen much of an update since. So this will be nice to, or well, not nice. We have it already, and we'll be using that in the Indy Racing World Series coming up.
It's coming up here February 4th. Still got some spots open, so if you want to come out and race with us, open yourself up to some other of our fun events too that we go on. Come on out.
And real quick before we wrap, we have to talk iRacing Daytona 24. What a brutal weekend.
Yeah, I actually was not prepared for rain. I practiced 0 laps in the rain. I did the night driving.
Night driving in the rain. What a lovely combination that is.
I would have been okay with two of the three things. We had night driving, that's fine. Daytona, it's a lot of fun. I actually
24
enjoy
hour
it.
race. Yeah, yeah. It's great.
Rain, it's kind of fun to drive in. And I think it equalizes things out for me a little bit, as I know I'm a little bit more conservative, so adding in rain in maybe helps me a little bit. But through my runs, I the off tracks, which I'm going to do anyway, and I think everybody does at some point. I made 5 mistakes, and it led to about 30 minutes of repair time because it also had the new dynamic debris in there.
I watching that from the broadcast, especially like you look at the entrance to the bus stop, and there was just this mound of grass that just kept building and building.
Yeah, you had the marbles and gravel. I had, I think, one issue at the bus stop, one at what, turn 6, and the other were at International Horseshoe.
And the problem
One on
is
turn
too,
1, two
pro
horseshoe.
there are a lot of early off-track spinouts in your split, and the debris on the track. There was a lot of debris on that track, and
Yeah,
we're kind of talking out loud during the broadcast, and I don't really know, I mean, the answer to this, but you've got this new dynamic debris feature where the dirt and rocks and grass and comes onto the track, and it's
yeah.
not
It used
like
to be like if a car picked up gravel, if you haven't been on iRacing or haven't really done road racing yet, like if you go off track and get some gravel on your tires, it used to just kind of like disappear and you're good. But now you track it back onto the track, and then other cars have to drive through it.
you slide across the gravel, slide across that dirt, that dirt's coming with you, and it's like, okay, so in real life, you get cautions and they bring out the sweepers and they clean it up to the best that they can. Uh, but there's no full course yellow in this event. And what are they assuming? Like, is the debris just gonna brush away? Are they assuming the rain's gonna wash it away? Or like we were kind of talking out loud, like what do they do here? Because
Yeah, I think we ended up with what, somewhere between about 15 and 18 hours worth of rain.
yeah, that sounds about right.
All 6 hours that I drove, I would say 5 to 5.5 was in solid rain. The last half hour, I don't really know. I was up basically late night doing the late shift and slightly delirious. The track started to dry out. I was cooking tires. I actually had tire temps of over 300
Oh
degrees
my god.
because I was on the wets. Um, and it was within 10 laps of changing drivers. So I wasn't going to pit for 3 laps and go back out. Um, but yeah, especially at night, you can't see the marbles and the gravel and all that stuff. And a couple times I was slightly offline, hit the brakes, feel it start sliding, and almost feel like it just breaks. It's like, shoot. I didn't fully realize at the time. It was like, yeah, I caught gravel, marbles, all the mess, and even a little tire barrier tap at 10 miles an hour is like, you're broken.
Yeah. And
You have 6 minutes of repairs.
from from the broadcast side of things, we changed it up. We last 2 years we were at a 24-hour long broadcast, and when Taka or myself were not available, we just had like an AI race director kind of following things around, and digging into the analytics of that, it's like we got you know people popping in, but it's like there's no commentary. It was kind of quiet, and people would leave. So we said, okay, so what we're gonna do this year is we're gonna do segments. They might be an hour, they might be 2.5 hours. So I started off, I did about 2.5 hours. I had to drop off and go to my kid's birthday party. Taka stepped in for a little bit. Then just problem after problem happened, both to the team on the track. And then I come back. I was gonna do a kind of a Saturday evening, hour 15, 16, 17. And I'm just kind of sitting here. This is my broadcast setup here, and I'm watching it. And all of a sudden, it says connection closed. I'm like, connection closed. And then I look and I see my internet went down. And then my internet was down all night, and it didn't come back up until like 7 a.m. my time the next morning, a couple hours after it ended. So didn't get any like Saturday evening coverage. Taka jumped in at uh, for the last hour ish and brought it home. But we ended up only covering about probably 6.5 hours of the 24 hours. But yet the views are in line with what we did when we ran for 24 hours and had an AI race director for like 12 of it. So it's like, okay, well that, and also too, it helps because I just ran the stream and Taka would uh he would watch on his, but he'd see what was on my screen with the screen share, but it's he didn't have control of the broadcast, and if there was a problem and I wasn't there, we'd have issues, and knock on wood we didn't, but this year we would have. That sucked. So
Yeah, it was unfortunate. I had some mishaps and we got tangled up with GT3s a couple times. And
just got destroyed by a GT3 I think by an Acura, if I remember right.
and it's unfortunate. We were in a little bit of a lower split with a lower strength of field, so that
Got to
plays
get that
into it as
iRating
well.
up.
Yeah, some of us need to do more road racing and get better at road racing. Although I actually was holding my own fairly well in the GTB. I got some stuff to learn and figure out still. I blame the pedals.
Part of me in one of the shorter events, like maybe like the Watkins Glen 6 hour or something like that, part of me wants to do maybe a GT3. But the rational side of me says no.
I really like the LMP2, but I really like the Ferrari GTB. For me, knowing that I'm one of the faster cars out there, and
Got a visitor.
animal trying to get in.
Oh, you got an animal. Oh man, but
And not having to worry about having every single car on track passing me was really nice.
being able to flash your lights at get out of the way, Corvette, Mustang, get out of the way. We got the Rolex 24 this weekend. I'm probably going to reactivate my Peacock subscription for a month just to watch that. It's a good
I've
time.
forgotten to cancel it, so I do have it.
I canceled mine after the IndyCar season.
I see it on my bill, or bank account. I need to cancel that.
Well, I wasn't really
Oops,
thinking,
forgot.
but they had a Black Friday special where you could get a year of Peacock for $20. I was like, that's like 2.5 months for a year. Like, should have done that, but whatever. I have enough streaming channels. I've cut back on the streaming channels that I've Hulu Live. I think that's it right now. I canceled Peacock. I canceled Paramount Plus.
Yeah, it's nice with
I don't have
at least
Netflix.
Hulu we have it includes Disney and
Yeah,
ESPN.
yeah, yeah. I mean, oh yeah. I guess I've got the bundle with the Disney and the. Have you noticed on the bundle stuff is like pushing over into the Disney Plus app?
Never paid attention yet.
Yeah, check out the Disney Plus app sometime. And live sports are in there now from ESPN. That
Huh.
was on ESPN. I think they're going to phase the ESPN app out. And Hulu live TV is not in the Disney Plus app. But
They're
part of
gonna
me,
phase it out and then up the price.
yeah, they're going to consolidate everything into like the Disney Plus app, maybe. But yeah, I opened up Disney Plus the other day and because my kids wanted to watch something. And it was like, check out the Chicago Blackhawks take on the what, in Disney Plus. Okay, but anyway,
I'll have to look into that.
so we got Daytona race or Rolex 24 this weekend, and but be sure Thursday race has already happened by the time this is aired Thursday afternoon, but Friday, be sure to you're listening to this. Tune in later this morning to the MX5, the Mazda MX5 Cup. Our friend Heather Hadley will be back in that race. She'll be driving her 54, but she'll be driving for Hendricks Motorsports, not Hendrick Motorsports.
There is a difference.
There is a difference. And for a second, I was like, Hendrick. I'm like, wait, Hendricks. Right. But she is going to be driving for them this weekend at Daytona. So good luck to her. And hopefully she has a good showing with her new team.
And, kind of off the wall racing, this weekend kicks off events that lead up to the I-500. It is a 500-mile snowmobile race up here in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
What?
And it'll actually be broadcast on Flow Racing.
Really? A
Yeah.
500-mile snowmobile race?
Yep, there's lots
Is
of
it
different races that go on. There's one this weekend, and I think Wednesday or
how
Thursday qualifying,
how
and now the
does
races kick off.
like does every like is it a team thing or does like somebody like drive their snowmobile for 500 miles?
Yeah, somebody's on it.
Just that snowmobile runs 500 miles. How
Yep.
long does it take to finish that race?
I don't know. This will be my first time experiencing it,
It's like
but it's a massive event. It sounds like up here. I'm excited to check it out. I
uh,
have heard that it is not a kid-friendly
I was about to
place.
say it sounds like the redneck Iditarod right
Yep.
there.
But it is a 1 mile oval.
What? What?
But apparently, what I was reading, they reach speeds 120 miles an hour.
What on a snowmobile? Has anybody died doing this?
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, I guess if you go flying off your snowmobile, there's a good chance you end in a soft pile of snow. So it might.
Yeah, we've been
What?
negative, so it's probably a pile of ice at
Oh
this
yeah.
point.
Oh god. That yeah. That would be bad.
They've been prepping the track. It's actually just right outside our door here, so we'll hear all the snowmobiles going. And I think we're gonna
Arca
try and
West
check it
kicks
out.
off. Yeah, you need to get some footage of that. That's insane.
Yeah, if I can find a way to do it, it'd be a fun
Ugh.
social media post. But yeah, the I-500 at Owasso Speedway in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
What do they
Flow racing.
what do they normally race on that? Is
That's
that all?
it.
That's it? Like they don't do like
Not to my knowledge. There was nothing going on here at the in August when we got up here. I think it's just for the I-500.
that's insane. That is absolutely insane. So
But yeah, largest snowmobile race in the country.
final note here. I opened my advent calendar or 12 days of Christmas diecast and got some new diecast to the collection. Got a Ryan Blaney. This is the 2023 Martinsville win car. I got the confetti all over it and got a Lean Rigs truck there. Got some Sam Mayer, got some Xfinity cars in here. I do like the Stenhouse. You got the Cheerios yellow car here. That's
It's like a throwback to Johnny Benson's
yeah,
26.
yeah. I mean, it's got the
Just needs
Ralphs
the
and
blue
Food for
hood.
Less. So my question is, I wonder if he ran this because Ralph's is a California company. So I wonder if
Mhm.
he used this in the Clash last year. Because they typically like when with the Kroger sponsorships and they have all the different brands of like Ralph's and Kroger and Fry's and King Supers and there's 20 of them. The sponsor tends to change based on the region that they're in. So like in Arizona, it's running the Fry's car, but that moved to RFK, the Kroger sponsorship.
Oh, actually, another NASCAR. They took away the yellow stripe for the rookies.
They did. And I think I read King's Hawaiian left RFK and now they're going to be Denny Hamlin's sponsor for part of the year.
And I saw Gibbs had a major announcement for Hamlin's car, but no,
Yeah,
I didn't look at it.
I think that was it. Yeah.
It says what, like a conflict with Kroger, actually.
Yeah, I think that's why they left is some issue with Kroger that they didn't. But yeah, I got some next gens, got some Chase Elliott, got a Kyle Busch mixed in here, got a Cindric, Snap-on tools. Yeah, this is yeah, I got myself another. Just what I need another dozen diecast cars for my collection. So I have
Just
like
real quick while we're on NASCAR, they did have a couple rule changes. The repair timer now goes away, more or less. You can go back, fix your car, head back out. If you get towed in with flat tires, you can actually change them and go back out. You're not done for the day. And the basically Kyle Larson rule is now in play. That if you miss race, you can still qualify for playoffs, but you start at the bare minimum.
Oh, did they say how that would have played out for him had he started in the back like that last year? I can't imagine he would. Didn't he win a race in the first?
I don't remember.
I don't think I've seen anybody.
I think he did.
I don't think I've seen anybody say how that went.
Yeah, you pretty much lose all your playoff points, all your bonus points. It is just a bare minimum
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
get.
That's right. He had that 468 laps led at Bristol in the night race. So he would have made it into the round of 12.
But then you're still short any bonus points from beforehand. I
Yeah,
would think
but
you can
and then
accumulate in the
well
playoffs.
then he won at the Roval, so he would have got it. So yeah, he would have made it into the 8 anyway. So it really in this situation it wouldn't have changed anything.
Yeah, at least for that it doesn't matter. But if you don't win race and it's all in points, NASCAR's not happy he didn't go. I feel like I wonder if they actually cut the Coke Six short because of that, so he didn't get a chance to run.
I feel like you'd have a lot of really upset sponsors by doing that.
Because they called it, they were drying it, and it's almost dry, and they're like, we can't run. It's too wet still.
Yeah, that was very weird.
It was a
So,
weird thing because he was there.
well, and all the drivers they were getting prepped to get in the car, if I remember right. And then they're like, "Nope, just kidding. Race is over."
Yeah, they were starting to get ready. I wonder if there was something behind that, which is unfortunate
I mean,
because they
you
were
know,
just past halfway.
NASCAR gonna NASCAR.
Yes.
I mean, NASCAR is like a mob organization anyway,
Pretty much.
running moonshine, and then you got Big Bill France all those years calling. And it's like, nope, not doing that. Nope, not doing that. You two fight again, I will have park you myself.
Hey, we want you guys to fight. We're gonna broadcast it on social media. Hey, we're gonna find you and all this other stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna no more wall ride, no more wall ride. Hey, every Martinsville promo.
You can't do it anymore, but we're gonna highlight it.
All right. On that note, we're gonna wrap for tonight. For our first episode of 2025, we're gonna be back on our same regular routine, and next week we will talk about the Rolex 24, catch up on some iRacing things, and be sure to sign up for the Indy Racing World Series, frracingonline.com/IRWS. Got a handful of spots left. We got a pretty decent response so far to our post. So we need to figure out what the final number is going to be for that. But Kentucky is going to be an interesting race. I don't
Yeah,
understand. I've done an official race at Kentucky under the lights, and it had really didn't have any issues there. But like every time I've been on it since, it just steps out on you on 3 and 4.
yeah, I think they've gotten some things figured out. Should be looking pretty good. Testing is going to be starting up here pretty soon.
We've got Auto Club, we've got Indy, we've got Dover, we've got Richmond, Belle Isle. What's the other road course?
Ohio.
Oh, Mid Ohio, of course, Mid Ohio. Um, I think Pocono's on the schedule this time
Yep,
around.
it's a kind of a tough schedule.
It is a tough schedule.
You
So
got to drive the tracks. Not too many just follow the leader tracks.
no Michigan this time because we have Auto Club probably.
Yeah, next season it's going to be a little bit more draft and bare knuckle or white knuckle racing.
Go get the Michigan, the Las Vegas, and
So a couple different types of seasons coming up here.
yeah. So 2 seasons. First season, each season's $10. broadcast fee. We broadcasted on Stadium Scene TV on Tuesday nights. We're actually going to have a fill-in announcer for the first two that we're coordinating those final details, but we've got a kind of a we've reached the point where we have a super sub on staff for our broadcasting that we hope to launch into another league. But our super sub is we're very excited to bring him on board, and I think he's going to add a lot to the broadcasts and good energy. Really had a good sit down conversation. We'll introduce him here relatively soon, but yeah, this
Looking
is
forward
gonna be
to it.
a lot of fun. And we'll see what we do league wise this year. But we've got our 30 Wednesday night dash races, we got our 20 Indy Racing World Series races, we got a 9 GT races with the next one on February 7th. So
Lots of stuff coming up.
a lot of good opportunities to race. The GT League is free. We run it Friday nights at 11 p.m. 60 minutes. What a not what a good way to end your Friday night, and we'll broadcast those events. So join our Discord, let us know you're here for the GT race, sign up for one of our leagues, and add up for Racing Online on socials. Thanks for watching.
And thanks again. We'll see you soon.